Oh man, yeah. So yesterday was pretty wild. Found some guy pass out on his lawn. Luckily, his little like 4'9" wife was yelling. They were pretty far away from me when I was making this delivery, and I could hear something. And usually in that case, I'm like, I must be at the wrong house or something like that. But I don't know what. And then I'm like, why is this yelling sound so strange? It sounds like someone's like dying or in need of help or something. So I start yelling back. I'm like, what? And I'm like, all right, let me go turn this podcast I have off in the car. Turn that off. And then I can tell. I'm like, all right, go ahead, say something now. Say something. And I'm just like, help, like really faint. Like, I'm like, all right, hold on. And I'm like, I grab my mag light. I start shining it around. I don't see nothing out in this field quite yet. And then I start, as I'm running towards it, and then I hear the lady say, please, my husband is down. My husband is down. And she's like, and he just cannot get up. I don't know how long he was down or she found him or what. So run over to him. And I'm like, I got you, buddy. I got you. I put one hand this way and put the other hand this way. I said, Tom, I'm Nick. I said, I'm going to get you up, pal. I'm like, I'm just going to pull you straight towards me and I'm going to get you straight off the ground. So I'm like, all right. So he had some little bit of upper body strength. So I was like, all right, I don't think it'd be that hard. So I pull him straight up and he's on my chest and I'm leaning back and, he's got nothing in his legs. Like he is smoked. And I don't know how long he was out there. Cause like there was like these little thorns afterwards that I kept finding in my hands. So I was like, I don't know if he was like digging into the ground, trying to stabilize himself. Couldn't use this metal chair to do it. And then finally, so I just like lean him further in and I throw his arm up over my shoulder. And at this point now I got him. We start moving into the house. As we're crossing the threshold, I turned back to the lady and said, ma'am, is it all right if I walk in your house? Times have changed, man, because I was a different animal 9 years ago. But yeah, so walk in there and get him. We could wrap some blankets around him, stuff like that, and start getting some warmth back to him. And I had to go back to doing what I was doing. So they were so thankful, and to be in service is always a beautiful thing. So anyway, the real story that I wanted to make here was about that cold air the other night. And our struggles can be vast at times and very challenging and very hard. And I think most people go through that and they have the tendency to not look back. You're always fighting the hill and you're always fighting the battle and you're always climbing up and you're holding the boulder. And it's the next thing, the next task, the next event. But let's just stop for a second and look back at how far we come. The room I'm sitting in now, this was impossible. I was living in a tent before, when I went in the heat of my drug addiction. And that day that Trace was born redefined me as a man in every way and would push me to the boundaries to absolutely say, can you actually say this is it, period? Yeah, you can, because you now have that love. And like, that's the thing. You have to have that. And I know some people, it doesn't work for them. And I find that hard to sort of get, but I struggle with that one. Like, this was the first time I was put in the situation as a drug addict, as a guy who was ripping and running for 20 years. For me, though, it was hands down. So we go to the OBGYN. She wasn't feeling good. Picked her up at IHOP. OBGYN says, you need to go to the hospital right now just to get checked out. So I drive to the hospital. I stop at Dunkin' Donuts along the way. I did not think it was, and she wasn't giving signs that it was going to be the apocalypse in the moment. So we go to the hospital, and the first thing they say is, we're going to have to put you on a tilt table for a few months. It's January. This baby's not supposed to be due till April. Yeah. So I'm thinking about my life in that. Like, what would that have been like? I don't know, because we didn't get to that moment. Because a few minutes later, I remember seeing, like a urine cup hit the counter, and there's like a jellyfish floating in this thing. And I'm just like, what is that, dude? And then the doctors came in and they said, Here's your scrubs. We're going now. It's happening right now. And the next 25 minutes would be some of the craziest, wildest, like, I'm sitting on the side, like, it's like, a football player in a massive game, but you're just sitting on the sidelines hoping that your team can pull this off. And that's what was going on. And I remember at some point, this basically eggplant hits the air. And I turn to the OBGYN and I say, is he going to make it? And she just turns to me and looks at me and goes, well, son, it's in God's hands now. Really? I'm a 20-year drug addict. I don't even know if I believe in God. I have no clue. Luckily for me, there was people on Allie's side of the family for sure that are strong in their faith. And I remember going back to the room, and I still wasn't certain yet what was going to happen. We knew that he was breathing, but we didn't know if he was going to make it. And the doctor came in, said the weight, and said it was 2 pounds. And I remember being like broken in that moment, like holding my head in my hands. And my father-in-law, who I was not his, he didn't love me really in that moment. And that's okay, because I wouldn't have loved me either in that moment. Not for lack of trying. That's the thing. As the teacher once said, them try-ons, boy, they're always trying. And that's right, man, because we always just keep pushing forward, keep pushing that foot forward. But, I wouldn't have loved me in that moment either. And that's okay. That's understandable. All I can do is push forward and try to be a better man going forward. And I try to do that every single day to the best of my ability. And it's not easy, but it can be done. So I remember the doctor, there's a female doctor, this African-American woman. She pulled us into like a corridor in the side. Allie was able to at least, be in the conversation at that point, I remember. And I just remember her saying, listen, he's going to make it. But I'm telling you right now that this is going to be a long, long road. And boy, was she right. Like, I had judges in our past that, tried to separate me and her and stuff. And I was just like, ain't nothing I love doing better than proving somebody wrong, baby. So, we did that thing, and always, I'm a man of honor, man. So if I say I'm going to do something, if it wasn't for the drugs, I'd always have been honorable. Man. So anyway, they said that they're going to medevac him down to Penn, where at St. Mary's. And Allie she just got cut open wide. She can't make the journey. The ball is now in my court. This is when, for me, shit got real. So I go out to my car and I'm looking at this alcohol. I think I took a shot or two because my nerves were so shot. And then I remember smashing the bottle, just like throwing it, and being like, fuck this shit. I don't need this shit no more. So go down to the train station right away. My mom meets me there at the train station. Get on the train. It is a absolute blizzard out. Luckily the trains are still running. We get down there. I remember walking through like the Diamond District, Jewelry District. My mom kept falling, man. I just remember my mom kept falling. I'm like, man, I got enough shit going on, man. I gotta pick you up, man. But but it was my mom. I needed her in that moment, man. Because I was really in a crossroads. We get down there and we take us to the NICU. I never seen nothing like this before. So they walk us into this back room. I would say there's like, it's like a room that's got like 6 incubators in it. And he's at the very last one. That's like right next to the side door that goes to like where you can sit and have coffee. And little did I know, like, that area was going to be my domain for the next 4.5 months or whatever. But I remember specifically those 5 days were just me going up to this incubator and watching for whatever, like this hand. And I couldn't stop looking at his hands and thinking, just like, whatever we got to do, what it's going to take just to get bigger. And, especially that first time you get skin to skin with them, man, it's like this little ET terrestrial little finger, and I would just stare and watch him, and you're watching something you created grow inside this incubator and knowing that he's going to make it. Also, like, we went down, we're living at the Ronald McDonald House. So we're like shuttling back and forth all the time. And the Ronald McDonald House was just tremendous. And they don't even know the role they played in mine, because that 4 months that we lived there was a chance for me to go back out into my world and close doors that needed to be sealed shut. And that's exactly what I did. And it was in those 4 months, because you can't just turn everything around in 5 seconds. And that's the thing about addiction and people that struggle with it, and the family members that don't understand. And everybody wants instant gratification. But in addiction, instant gratification doesn't come, because we all know somebody who's that 8-month guy, 9-month guy, and it's the slip up. And me personally, I'm not going to get big into this right now, but I don't really believe anymore in those groups and causes to fight it. Me personally, I think it's about love and distributing your love in the right way that can get you whole. And that's exactly what I had to do, because that was the only thing that actually changed the course for me. And so many times, I remember one time standing up in an all men's meeting with 40 guys, and we did lost visitations and all sorts of stuff for guys sneaking drugs into this facility. And I just remember being so angry, and I was heating up like a bowl of soup in this, these people are getting yelled at, and I just stood up and I erupted. And I was just like, I'm fighting for my fucking life here, and you people are playing fucking games, man. And I do remember like a lady pulled me aside from that work there, and she said that was like one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. But even in that moment, even though I wanted it, it wasn't, it still couldn't be, because it was still about me. It had to not be about me anymore. And that's where the love comes in for my son, that's why I say, yeah, I got to do all this stuff for him. Like, it gets tough. Like yesterday, he had this incredible separation anxiety, just so I had to take him to the store. But like, people don't understand, like, it was a thing I had to put my foot down on and be the authority in his life. And that's my role. And I've already made a decision that it's me and you, buddy, going to the store. It's not going to be the three of us. And it's a real struggle there. And you're watching him melt down. And then, but he made the decision to go with me. But I have to play serious and hard with him. But he doesn't know when his back is turned, I'm crying on the other side, because I don't want to have to do this to him. But I have to, because somebody has to. So, that's what I mean by like the daily struggles of dealing with it. But it's okay, because that story will forever reshape the man that I am. And I am so thankful for that, because every statistic, every odd, if you were to do the math on after surviving 3 overdoses, like, would I still be here without him? I would never, ever take that gamble. Never. That'd be a terrible bet. And I'm a bet man, baby. Let's let it ride. I would never ride on that bet, because those odds are terrible. But I just want to say, anybody who goes through this sort of thing, the key is your words will take you so far, but it is action that is required to do these things, to keep your head down and grind and push through to get to the other side. And that's what I've done for 9 years now. And I wouldn't change it for a freaking second, man. I'm just thankful for him. I'm thankful I'm still here. I'm thankful we got Tom up. Sometimes maybe for whatever it is, something's using me as an instrument. I don't know. Simulation, possibly. It's a weird thing. How do you take a guy who's damn near suicidal, who's a maniac, who you can't stop him from going down. How do you take him and completely flip him the other way around? And how do you change his whole structure? How do you change that whole character structure? Well, I just told you how. So, what is it? What are we? I don't know. We're all struggling to find that answer. But whatever. Either way, it's a good story. I love my character. Let's keep playing. That's all I got for right now.